Boom! And we are
Holy crap.
live. What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. My name is James, and you are watching another episode of Comic
X Weeb! Ha! Ha! Ha!
That's right. Like I said, I'm James, your co-host, aka Comics for Cheap, aka hashtag Send It to James, aka We Own This City was pretty badass. And I got my co-host here with me.
It's your boy Chris, aka James. Come on, man. Come on, brother. Yeah. Black Santa, aka what's up, Doc? aka Super
Yeah.
Code.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
Water.
All right. Sponsored by?
Sponsored by no one, because we're still working on that.
That's right, everybody. So this is ComicXWeeb, your favorite nerdy podcast where we talk about everything that we can nerdy, but mostly comic books, movies, and anime. Go ahead and hit that like button. Smash it. Whether you're live or on the replay. I'm just sending out a couple little invites here, and then we'll get the show on the road. Subscribe if you haven't already, all that usual nonsense. We got a great hour of bullshitting planned for you, so we're just gonna kind of hop into it with, you know what, I got to talk about this show that I have been watching over the last 6 weeks with John Bernthal. It's on HBO Max. It's called We Own This City. So I think we were going over it a little bit on previous episodes, but I finished it today, and I have to say it was amazing. And I was completely thrown and surprised by the fact that this was actually based on real officers, real shit that happened in Baltimore between 2015 and 2017. I knew it was kind of loose. I thought that it was loosely based off of events like after the Freddie Gray event and everything that happened there. I thought it was just kind of showing a little bit of an insight of the problems they were dealing with. No, this actually was dealing with real stories, real things that happened. And like, I was just kind of shocked when the end came up, and it was like, this officer received 25 years in prison, this officer received 15, 10, 12, 7, 7, whatever. Mayor was indicted 3 years in prison. Like, it went deep, like it went pretty far up the chain, and like there was a whole bunch of shenanigans that went down. So I have to say, I highly recommend the series. First of all, if you haven't watched, it's called We Own the City on HBO. It was directed by the same people who did The Wire, and has John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher, as one of the main leads. And man, it was just eye-opening, for one, for sure, eye-opening. And just kind of like mind-boggling, number two. So
that's impressive, though. Like, I definitely hope the show does well.
What's up, Roy?
Was good. I hope the show hope the show does well, so then he'll have The Wire, and then he'll have this show under his belt. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Or at least either way, the fact that you liked it. Did you like The Wire too?
Dude, honestly, I was just about to say, so The Wire for me, I've tried a couple of times and could never get like super into it, but I was a lot younger and didn't have the patience for slow building shows, which The Wire, the first season at least, was for sure like a slow builder. So I need to go ahead and revisit The Wire. I was just like kind of adding it mentally. I was like, I probably need to go and really sit down and watch The Wire.
I'm gonna watch your show first, but I feel the same way about The Wire. I watched the first couple of episodes, and then I never watched it since. I wasn't like, oh, this sucks. It was just like,
exactly,
it didn't interest me enough where I was like, I want to keep watching. It was like, all right, well, if I get another one, I'll watch it. But I never like went out my way to watch it again, so I didn't watch it. But I'm gonna watch your show first, and then I'm gonna watch The Wire too to see if I feel any different.
Yeah, I'm 100% on the same page as you because like you said, it's not that I sat there and I was like, wow, this is garbage. I can't believe everybody says that they love The Wire and it's
Right.
terrible. It wasn't anything like that. I was just like, why does everyone say that they love The Wire? It's very, very slow. And I think I was like 2021 at the time when I was trying to watch it. So it didn't connect with me. So I definitely need to sit down and give it a shot again. Um, especially like how much I liked We Own the City, which
Right.
was not a slow burn by any means. Like it's pretty quick paced and kind of like cutscene and showing everything. So uh We Own the City is about the gun trace task force that they put into establishment in Baltimore. A lot of plainclothes operations where basically these dudes would do like they literally just took the law into their hands and did whatever it took to produce or clean up the streets of Baltimore, as they put it, getting guns, drugs off the street. But it turns out what they were really doing was just robbing people, like straight up robbing people. They would drive really fast to a group of people that were standing around or whatever, and then slam on the brakes and then chase whoever ran. That was like one of their tactics. They would illegally plant um, tracers, GPS tracers, onto cars so that they could rob their homes, like drug dealer homes, and see like what was going on there. I mean, just all sorts of shit. They ended up they think they said they ended up stealing over $300,000 cash. They were stealing drugs to sell in another city. They were they were stealing jewelry. There were multiple times that they planted drugs and guns on people that they falsely arrested to make it seem like it was a legitimate claim. There were several people who died through the course of like their shenanigans that they pulled, including one of the officers who was implicated and was like trying to be clean or whatever, like immediately got himself out of the gun trace task force after he saw what was going on and
Right.
became a homicide detective, and then ended up killing himself because his name was about to be dropped with everyone else's name as someone who like took in part of the cut because he was like present one day that shit was going down.
Right.
Yeah, just all sorts of stuff, man. And it's crazy. It's crazy that this was happening like at this scale. Obviously, it happens, right? Like obviously,
Yeah.
police are corrupt. There's bad cops out there. Especially the fucking ones that were in Texas that didn't do shit during the school shooting. But like there's bad. They're like the ones that are profiling people of color. They're planting evidence. This shit, we know this shit happens, but this one though, oh my god, it was just
Like
like
just to actually see the fact that they're putting tracers in a person's car, and then when they get home, they're running up in there using their cop powers to steal from that person, being able to go up to
correct.
their house and say all this cop mumbo jumbo to get them to get inside or whatever, get the warrants they need, and to be able to go in there, get what they want, and then sell it somewhere or steal or whatever the case may be. Just seeing that stuff is freaking insane, and like, damn, it really makes you understand. Yeah, this is what police officers can do. This
Right.
is what like a definitely if it's like and that this takes place in Baltimore, right? Did you say Baltimore?
Baltimore. Yep, Baltimore.
Okay, now imagine a place that's like somewhere out there in like some lonely part of Alabama or whatever. Someplace like that where it's just like that police force has all power. And it's not even a big place like Baltimore or like New York, LA. It's a much smaller, like everybody knows each other kind of town. They can do whatever the hell they want, man.
It's crazy.
And
It's
it's
absolutely crazy.
crazy indeed.
And they
It
were like
really is.
operating no warrants. Everything that they did was just probable cause, and you put that in quotations, probable cause.
And a lot of people don't know the law like that, so you can just scare people if you're a cop and you know what you're doing and you're confident enough.
Right. Which is exactly what they were doing with this guy. So what a fantastic series is We Own the City. Reminds me of the series The Wire. It's funny that you say that. We were just saying it's directed by the same people that were involved with The Wire. And we were just saying that we need to go back and rewatch The Wire. Both of us do. because neither one of us really made it too far into it.
No.
Yeah, man, it's just like I said, eye-opening, and I highly recommend watching it. I don't want to give too much away about it, but John Bernthal puts on an amazing performance, and this dude, like, to the day that he went to prison, really thought that he was a good cop. Like, he was doing the right thing. He was like, I was stealing or skimming off the top or whatever, but I was doing the right thing. And like, it's just like, no, motherfucker, you were stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars and selling drugs. Like, what are you doing? Like, and he really thought he was doing a good thing. And he also thought his entire force, his entire task force, he thought they wouldn't snitch on him. Like, he thought that they would all just hold, and he would just get away with it all because nobody was gonna talk. No, it didn't go down like that. When they were like 25 years versus 7 years, I don't know which one I want to do. So
oh my god, when you say that, you remind me of Sosuke Aizen. Oh man,
what's that?
You reminded me of an anime character, Sosuke Aizen. He gave a speech of what a god really is, basically. And when he was giving this speech, the person he was fighting against brought up the fact that he was like, well, you have all these subordinates under you. And you talked about how this dude is like, oh, well, he trusted his people would not turn on him. Well, Aizen's whole thing was like, that's the foolishness when he was like, I asked them for their power. I asked them like for them to like do their jobs or whatever, help out. But he was like, I never once asked them for their trust. He was like, that's a foolish mistake right there to do that. So with Aizen's case, he never asked them for their trust, so he never trusted them in return. So he wouldn't have been shocked if they would have tried to do something against him. And that led to really good things for him in the future. When things would happen and somebody would turn on him, he would see it coming, because he never, like, even though he basically raised Ging to a degree, Ging was one of the people under him, and Ging was with him since Ging was like a child. Even with that, when Ging turned on him, it didn't like destroy Aizen, or he was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. He had no problem cutting Ging down. Like, it's just like, that just reminded me of that. Like, I was thinking of Aizen anyway, so that just reminded me of that.
There you go. Okay. So a little tie-in with some anime there. All right. Well, like I said, I just wanted to go over that real quick and just kind of throw it out there. We own The City on HBO. Definitely give it a watch. And we are going to watch The Wire, and eventually we'll go over that as well. Even though 40 years later, how
but it'll be our take from it, though.
Exactly. Oh man, it's some sports news.
And Vanilla Vic over here, it's gonna be a whole different story there, bro. Trust me, Vanilla Vic. Those jerseys. I mean, those that merch coming soon, boys. Coming soon.
Vanilla Vic. In some sports news, New York Rangers going to the Eastern Conference Finals. What's up? I am so excited.
They wanted, I forgot what it was, but it was something about a record they have now with them winning elimination games. It was something pretty impressive that I kind of
because this entire playoff run that they've had, they've been like on the ropes and come back. They came back against Pittsburgh, being down like 3-1. So and then like just came back and won 3 in a row, and then they came back against Carolina, same shit. Like, it was crazy. I went to game 6.
Okay.
5. I went to game 5 in Carolina, and it was a lot of fun. Carolina won, but Carolina's like my number 2 team. Obviously, we're in North Carolina, so Canes are my number 2 team. But obviously Rangers my number 1. So I was a little disappointed, but it was still a lot of fun. That arena, by the way, PNC Arena in Raleigh, is so loud. Like, I have never been in an environment, and I'm including MSG, I'm including concerts. I've never been somewhere that like my ears were actually starting to ring a little bit. Like, never. It was loud, dude. Like, it was crazy, and I was hyped to see such a strong presence in North Carolina, because you wouldn't really think North Carolina to be a big hockey state. You know what I mean? Just like how I think about like Florida or some of the other, like Texas or whatever. teams. I'm like, they probably don't have a huge hockey presence,
Much more
but
football.
yeah, exactly. But this one, it was nuts, dude. Like I was just like, it felt almost at one point like the floor was shaking a little bit, like it was that loud.
Well,
Um,
I'm telling you, man, you go to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks playoff game. You go to the old Oracle Arena, even though the new arena they have now gets popping too. But the Warriors Arena, like that'll have your fucking ears bleeding. The Seahawks, that 12-man crap is not a joke.
oh,
Seattle
okay.
Seahawks, those, oh my God, their fan base. Woo, that's one of the loudest places. Arrowhead, Kansas City's
Hmm.
also extremely loud. Yeah, there's some places, man. LA in a legit playoff run for the Lakers. No one cares that much about the Clippers, even when they are winning. But the Lakers, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, there's some places, bro. You'll be like, oh my God, man, I can't hear myself think.
Right. Yeah. No. And I was again. I definitely would love to experience. I've never done MSG on a playoff run. I mean, they sell out pretty much every night, but I remember doing MSG when I was a bit younger, maybe like 20-ish, 21. And like it was loud. I remember it being loud. But this was just maybe it was because it was playoffs. But it was just unbelievable. I couldn't I can't even put it into words because I just was so surprised. I never, I'd been to Canes games before, I know they declared themselves as like designed to be the loudest arena in the NHL. Because they are a newer arena. It's not like some of the older arenas that exist, but I was like, okay, whatever. Like I thought they were just bullshitting, you know what I mean? Like every fan base is like, we're the loudest fans, it's and like, but no, they might actually have a case for it because it
I don't know, man.
was
I
loud.
don't know, man. I don't think they really do. I hate to be mean to them. I don't think they do, man. I'm
No,
telling you,
okay.
those other teams, man, that I named,
Hmm.
I think it'll be more popping.
Yeah, okay. All right. But I'm just glad that the Rangers are going. Now they're playing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay swept the Florida Panthers in the last round. Florida Panthers had the most winning season in the regular season and then got swept by Tampa Bay, who has won the last two Stanley Cups. So they're going for a three-peat. New York is going to try to stop them. I'm really hoping that at least Tampa will be a little rusty because they've been sitting for a week.
Waiting,
And what's that?
waiting, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been waiting on the next one, which is like some people are like, oh, that's good because they have time to rest or whatever.
That's always the biggest debate. What
And
would
then
you
yeah,
rather have the rest, or would you still be playing so you're still in rhythm? That's
right.
always the biggest debate.
And
And
coming off
I
this
would lean
momentum,
towards still playing than having the rest, unless you have a lot of injuries. Then
mm,
I'm gonna say you got to get the rest to get these guys going. But in
right?
an even situation, I would rather still be in rhythm and keep the momentum going from the Dubs than to be sitting there just doing nothing, basically. Because you can't, especially playoff ball or hockey or whatever you're playing, you can't reimagine that. You can't like practice that. You have to be involved. You have to be going against the other team. No matter the amount of practice you go through, it's not going to change anything. So because of that, I would rather keep playing. But again, if we got a ton of injuries, like everybody's injured. If you got a ton of injuries, your best guy is really hurt, you want the help, the time to waste. But outside of that, more even, we just all playing through injuries. I'd rather be going into a battle. I'd rather be continuing to keep my rhythm and momentum going than waiting
Okay,
around doing nothing.
okay, there you go. Rangers, I think, had two people come off of injury during Game 6 and 7, so like they
Mm,
came back, which helped our push to win.
absolutely.
And then, just like you said, like they're on this momentum, they're on this tear. I feel like they're probably feeling a little bit full of themselves, which is good. You want that in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
to be coming in against Tampa, who for some reason is still favored. Well, obviously, they won the last two cups, that's why they're favored, right? So
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why
they're favored.
they should be favored.
So New York is going to come in and I feel like, I hope anyway, and just be like, all right, let's fuck some shit up. Let's tell let's beat them up basically. And I don't think they had any injuries throughout this last series other than, like I said, those two that came back, those two players, which is great. Canes unfortunately suffered quite a few injuries, which I feel like did not help with their loss. Um But Rangers, man, they're looking good. I don't know if they
It's
can
crazy
beat.
because it's just
What? Go
no, go
ahead.
on.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
go.
was gonna
You're
say
good.
I don't know if they can beat Edmonton
Mm.
because that team is they're fucking stacked. They're just as hungry. Connor McDavid, everyone's saying is the next Wayne Gretzky.
Mm.
He's got like a huge line with him. He's never made it to the conference finals. He's in the conference finals this time. I I don't know. And
It's
they're
a
a
lot
lot
of
more
pressure on him.
physical.
That's a lot of pressure though, because
There's
now
a
he
lot
got
of
to get it
pressure
done. He got to get it done.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. They're a lot more physical of a team, for sure. Their goalie is, I don't know about better than the Rangers goalie, but he's a little more consistent, especially on the road. So it's going to come down to who wants it more. But first, obviously, they got to make it past the defending champions of the
Yeah.
last 2 years with an
Yeah, they don't
asterisk
need to
because of
worry about
COVID.
anything except getting past Tampa Bay right now. That's the only thing they need to be focused
Yeah.
on. Is just worried about this. We get past them, then we'll worry about whoever the hell we got to play next. But matter of fact, they don't exist right now because we got to get past the champs.
That's right. That's right. So that's my little sports update for you guys. I don't know
That's
if you
kind
had
of
any
funny
sports
because
with the
it
basketball.
reminds me when you talked about the boys who went down with the best record. It reminded me of the Phoenix Suns who had the best record, and Chris Paul, got to be honest, had another choke performance.
Mm.
Devin Booker, I love Devin Booker. He's so good, but he chokes his butt off when it comes to games that matter. And he was the man who was known for empty stats. And he also put up 70 points in one game. He did it against Boston.
Wow.
He put up 70 points and his team lost. And that was one of the big moments where they was like, all this dude does is put up empty stats. Like his stat, like that's all he does. And now Phoenix, they went to the finals last year. They choked that way. They lost to Giannis. Giannis is a beast, best player in the world. Can't gotta give him credit for that. But still, it was a lot of choke jobs in the finals. Then they come this year on revenge tour. They talked all this trash. This is the revenge tour, blah, blah, blah. They get to the second round. They struggled in the first round. They get to the second round. Their team is full. Everybody's there. Everybody ready to go. Chris Paul's having these unbelievable performances. He had a performance where he went 14 for 14. He didn't miss a single shot. He was perfect from the field goal. He had 30 plus points. Perfect from the field goal, perfect from three-pointer, perfect from free throw line. He had the perfect game. Wow. Everybody like, oh my God, Chris Paul finally gonna do. He's gonna get him a championship, put himself in the top 5 point guards of all time. This is the year. Chris Paul, I'm talking trash. And then they ran up against my boy Luka.
Oh yeah, and then he embarrassed them, right?
And then Luka embarrassed those guys. I mean, it's so funny. It's like Father Time was waiting for Chris Paul to turn 37 because his first games before he turned 37, he was averaging all 20 plus points, close to 30, close to 10 assists. He was doing everything. And then as soon as he turned 30, his numbers dropped so down. This dude was like basically in single digits for points and assists. Like he just lost everything. He couldn't do anything anymore. And it was like Father Time was just waiting in that locker room. As soon as he turned 37, he tapped him on the shoulder and said, all right, I gave you enough time, son. You had your fun. Yeah. That's it. And he looked so bad. And this is what the problem is, though. A lot of people are killing Chris Paul. And okay, yeah, I can get it. But I ain't mad at Chris. I'm mad at Devin Booker. Chris Paul is 36, 37 years old. Devin Booker, you're the 25, 26-year-old. You're supposed to be the next. Some people even compare him to Kobe Bryant, which I hate comparisons. But if you're going to compare anybody, you need to compare Jason Tatum, not Devin Booker. But and it's funny because Jason Tatum said after the game when they beat Miami and they won Game 7, now he's in the finals against the Warriors. He said he sent Kobe a text. Obviously, Kobe's gone, rest in peace. But he sent Kobe a text. Kobe's is beyond idol. He even wore the 24 Kobe's actual wristband on his arm when he played in Game 7. He texted him and everything. Like he loves Kobe. I mean, he said Kobe's the reason why he's the player he is. But anyway, Devin Booker also has a good relationship with Kobe. But Devin, you're supposed to be that guy. There's no excuse for you choking like this. When you're like Chris should not be the de facto guy who gets it done. It's your time now. You're supposed to be the young lion. You're supposed to be the guy who carries this team where they need to go. But where was he? nowhere, and the team got blown out in the final game, and you're sitting there like, Devin, where are you at? My man didn't even give you 20. It's
He's
like,
sleeping.
you know what?
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping, man. He's sleeping. But the NBA has been fun, man. These playoffs has been very fun. And I'm happy to see the Warriors. You know, I hate Boston, but I love me some Jason Tatum, man. But I hate me some Boston. But
so it's Boston against Golden
Warriors.
State.
Steph Curry. My boy
Steph Curry back in the finals.
Back in the finals, making Kevin Durant look real bad.
Has it already started? Now the finals have already started?
It starts Thursday.
Starts Thursday. Okay, I'm excited for that. I'll probably watch the finals for sure. I've been trying to watch a little more basketball recently, but I have, I was like, I don't want to jump in late in the season, but I'll watch the finals. I'll try to go into next season watching some more games.
Okay.
And see if I can get behind it a little bit more. Because I've never really been into like watching NBA games for whatever reason. I love playing basketball.
Right.
So there's no reason for me to not watch some NBA. So I'll try to get into that a little bit more next year. As well as obviously
got a young, nice team with them. I mean, there's some things I don't like about the team, but there's some young, nice talent on that team. So you might enjoy some Charlotte games.
Lonzo. I know he's on the Hornets now, right?
But hey, I gotta admit, LaMelo is playing pretty well. I mean, I still have my issues with him, off the court at times and some of the stupid decisions he made. But as a player,
right?
Yeah, he's balling, man. That dude can ball. Okay. I can't hate on that. He can actually ball.
Okay. Yeah. When Lonzo first went into when he was rookie season, Chris and I were working together still, and
he was part of my Lakers.
Yeah, he was. And so I would just every now and then like shoot some trash into the trash can instead of yelling your typical Kobe.
Yes.
I would yell Lonzo just to get a reaction out of Chris.
It always made me angry. I knew he was doing it to make me angry, and it still made me angry. And it still makes me angry to this day. So,
and like I would, I'd probably miss half the time, which is equivalent to Lonzo at the time.
Yeah.
But I'll just be like Lonzo.
And that's what would also make me angry because I had to deal with that crap in an actual like watching him miss shots. Help us lose games.
Oh goodness.
Okay, we got 38-year-old LeBron. It's cool.
All right, well, Chris, you know what? I heard a little bit of a rumor in the universe here that you have launched your social media. So we're gonna go ahead and need to drop that.
All right. It's time to drop it. It is time to drop it. So I want y'all all to come to your boy on Instagram. And it is Chris Lloyd. So ChrisLLoyd, AKA Black Santa.
Is that all part of your handle?
That is it.
All right, AKA Black Santa.
2418.
2418.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into the chat. And there, Chris Lloyd, aka Black Santa, 2418. Give your man a follow. I'm gonna shout him out on Instagram later tonight. Get those numbers up. And what are you gonna be doing on Instagram? You're gonna be talking about some comic books, some video games.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be talking about comics. I'm gonna be talking about anime. It's gonna be a lot of anime stuff. Which I'm also going to be bringing a lot more of that to this channel as well. So heck yeah, man.
I'm very excited
about that. It's going to be fun, man. I'm so happy to be opening up the next chapter in my life past that hellacious place where I was at. Dino was there. He knows how it is with that terrible company and what's going on there. I got to also tell you something off camera that happened. I'll tell you off camera, but it was disturbing, man. Somebody got some BS happened to him. But yeah, man, just to be away from that terrible atmosphere, terrible leadership. I'm just excited, man, to start the next chapter and move on from that garbage, man.
Hell yeah. So at Chris Lloyd, aka Black Santa 2418, I'm gonna be posting it on my Instagram later this evening. And now we can even do live on Instagram shows too. So that's a lot of fun. Where we, we're still gonna have our YouTube thing where we go live on YouTube. But now we can just kind of like less like shorter little segments or whatever on Instagram.
Just random stuff. Y'all don't even know what's going on.
Exactly. So keep an eye out for that. I'm very excited about it. And then we can move on. I just wanted to talk about real quick. I was mentioning to Chris off camera before we started that I was tossing around a little idea here.
Yeah.
Which I don't know whether it'll work or not, but it just kind of it was in my head, planted because my sister and her fiance currently live in Manhattan, and they're about to be priced out by rent, and they're thinking about moving back to the Charlotte area.
Okay.
So my sister wants to move back to North Carolina. She's done with New York. She had a great time. I think she was there for 4-ish years. But she's ready to come back. And I understand it's very expensive in New York. Her fiance, however, is not ready to leave the New York area, right?
So is he a New Yorker?
No, he's from I believe he's from a smaller town, Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
That's where they met. They went to Furman. And so they moved to New York when my sister went to grad school, and they got engaged. So they moved in together. So I think he likes the bigger city life because he's not from it. Charlotte has become much. It's obviously nowhere close to New York. I can't even say it even touches it, but Charlotte has become a lot bigger of an area, bigger city. It's like top 15 in the country when you look at it. So it is definitely a bigger area. But I guess it's hard. It is. I get the appeal of New York City when
Absolutely,
that's
man.
like, when that that's where you're living and everything. Like,
always got something to do. Always anywhere to go. Yeah,
right.
The city life can't replicate that.
But when your rent's about to double, with no,
then you can't afford that.
Yeah, with no added anything, like they're not doing anything to justify a rent double, but they're gonna go ahead and double the rent. Then the South starts to make a lot more sense. So what he does up there is he manages it's like a bar / nerdy hangout where you can do like tabletop games, such as like Munchkin, Magic the Gathering, card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dungeons and Dragons hangout, that kind of thing. So it sells those games, it sells cards, but it's also kind of like a little makeshift bar, just a place to hang out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like that because like he has a lot of fun there. I'm sure that's part of the reason why he doesn't want to leave the area, because that's a sweet gig. But I was like, man, I don't think we have anything like that in the Charlotte area. Even our comic shops that we have don't really rely on games, cards. Like they have some card stuff, but not really. It's mainly just like comic books. And we don't even really have a lot of comic shops because a brick and mortar shop is, a pain in the butt. It is a bitch, like especially now with diamond distribution and everything like that, just kind of up in the air, and it's been expanded to Penguin distribution and just everything that's going on with comic books. DC not even knowing if they want to continue printing comics is like something that's been tossed around. But what I've seen outside of Charlotte, a lot of comic shops do rely on games. Remember the one that we went to in Greenville had a lot of like gaming stuff, dice, role playing games and activities, and even like a whole back area for them to play in tournaments and TVs for like video games and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, and I was like, man, like how cool would it be to open up something like that in the Charlotte area? It wouldn't even need to be like a huge space. It doesn't necessarily have to be like in the city. It could be kind of like outskirts, surrounding area, and just have like this bar area or whatever, just beer, probably, because liquor is a lot more of an expensive license in the South than it is up north. But like on tap beers, local craft beers or whatever, snacks, and space to play these games, as well as selling some like tabletop games, expansion packs, cards, and then maybe have like a little area for comic books as well. I was just thinking about like, man, if he does end up coming down, he already knows how to run something like that. Shit, why not try to throw something like that together? But I don't know, man. Still tossing it around.
I think that's a wonderful idea, actually. I I really do. I actually think that's a good idea. It's going to be a interesting investment, but I think it can work. I
Mm-hmm.
think it can work very well, actually. I think it's
It's
something you should at least look into.
right.
Um, of course, and like I said off camera too, before you even told me what it is. Definitely after hearing this, man, I would love to be able to help out any way I can. I have
Yeah.
no problem investing in something like that myself, and even working with you guys to help you and come down and do stuff and work with you guys, man. Because that's I
Right.
think a wonderful and cool idea, which could really get things popping, man.
Mm. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, I would love to be able to have it and have it successful and be able to move you out here and, have something like that go down.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm just, it's obviously there's risk involved.
of course.
There's that little bit of fear involved. With
You
something
gotta
like
remember,
that,
man, you don't remember what they say, bro, and it's facts, man. Anybody need to always remember is to take this to heart, man. You don't make real money with fake money, bro. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Scared money don't make real money neither.
Oh,
So
okay.
you gotta go in there and you have to pretty much everything be having these risks. Like when you're hearing like a
Hmm.
lot of these guys that become billionaires and millionaires and stuff, and you look at what they risked into, it's like, man, I don't know how that worked. Like again, you look
Right.
at a guy like Mark Cuban, dropped out, didn't go to college, he didn't drop out of high school, didn't go to college and all that stuff, but just went for it. And
Hmm.
then now he's, the head of the Dallas Mavericks championship organization, living the best life you can live. You know what I'm saying? A
Hmm.
billionaire. But there's just so many examples like that, man. Scared money don't make money, bro. So if you believe in it, you got to go for it because you might be sitting there like, man, this ain't gonna work. And then like 2 years later, you look around like, oh shit, wait, what is that? And it's the
That
same
someone
idea
else
you
did it.
had, and some
Yeah.
other guy, some other girl, then tuck your idea, and then they
Mm,
good.
yeah.
You're like, damn,
That's
I should have did.
some good life advice being dropped by Black Santa right here. That scared money
Absolutely.
don't make money. I love it. Yeah, man. It's again. I like when I heard. So when my sister was down, she visited Charlotte or whatever. She was just kind of talking. I was listening. I wasn't even like involving. I was just letting her kind of vent about how she wanted to move and Ben didn't want to move and this kind of thing. And then I was just like sitting there and on the drive home, I was just talking to Alexis and I was like, man, like, I don't think Charlotte has anything like that. We have the barcade thing that has been increasingly popular where there's like a whole bunch of arcade games or whatever. Not necessarily arcade, but like the yeah, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, like just a whole slew of that kind of thing. And it's a bar as well. We have that. That's become a very like it went from hipster to mainstream very quick. And we
No,
have
because that's smart too. Because when you have like tournaments, dude, tournaments
mhm,
for like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat,
mhm.
you'll make some money, bro. You'll make
That's
some
what I'm
money.
saying. And
Yeah.
people are gonna show up. They're not gonna just like not get a drink or not get some snacks or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. And the same thing with like Magic. If you have like a Magic the Gathering
Yeah.
tournament or whatever, they're not gonna, they're gonna show up. Some of them may be whatever, but they're not gonna like not get a soda at least. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of chill and hang out with people. So there's the little entry fee. There's the soda or beer or whatever that you're getting as well. So it is smart in that aspect. But I was like, man, I don't really think that Charlotte has something like that. I looked at it and I was like, I can't find anything that's even close to it.
Right.
And especially something that serves like, your local area craft beer, that stuff like that, to kind of showcase and feature your own city, put your city on the map and everything like that. So yeah, and it just hasn't left my head for the last month or so. So I was just like, man, like usually if an idea is whatever, like, you'll forget about it. But this one just
Yeah.
hasn't. It just hasn't left my head. So I'm just like, man, I don't know. I'm just thinking harder and harder about it. I just don't know the logistics behind something like that, like an undertaking such as opening like a bar slash play area
Right.
for gaming and everything like that. So it's interesting. I'll have to do a lot more research for sure. But
Shit,
yeah, I
man.
just
I'll
wanted
do
to
some
kind of
research with you because you got me pumped up on this one. Seriously, I think it's a great idea, man.
thanks,
I think
man.
really look into it. And like I said, I'm willing to help too financially in any other way I can help. I think it's a great idea, bro.
Yeah, financially, yeah. For obviously we would have to rely out and go to a bank, like take
Of
our business
course.
plan to a bank and be like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And then I mean, if success, bro, like move you down here, set you up, get you on
Yeah.
salary, do this shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
because I got, that was the other thing where I was just like, well, Ben, that's kind of what he's going to be doing. But I was like, man, it can't mess up what I'm doing already. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
got so much shit. I was like, I'm going to need somebody else as well. So if we can all go in on it, I think it
Oh
would
yeah.
be a perfect opportunity for all of us.
I agree.
And hopefully, there's no one in Charlotte watching this right now and being like,
They're just bringing everything down.
they're just sitting there taking notes and shit.
I already got this loan. Don't have nothing to do with it. I'm sticking to my idea, honey. We're changing plans. It's like, woo.
Oh man, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, kind of talk about it a little bit. So yeah, I'm glad that
I think it's a great
that
idea.
you didn't immediately say, because I know you would tell me if
Oh
my
yeah,
idea
if I
was
thought it
shit.
sucked, I'm like, bro, hell no. Nah, I'm like, oh no, hell no. Bro.
Yeah, so I'm glad your immediate reaction wasn't that. So yeah, maybe there is something there. If Black Santa's on board saying scared money, you don't make money, then I don't know. It,
That's
it
right.
could be something that's coming soon to the Charlotte area within the next, I don't know, couple years or so.
A
It,
couple
it,
of
it
years or
could
so, yeah.
happen. It could happen.
It
I don't
could
know. But yeah,
very
there
much.
you go.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
Let's move on to like some comic/anime stuff. I think that
Okay.
you were saying that
Yeah,
you had
I was
something
talking about
recently.
Eisen earlier, and you know what? Why don't we talk a little bit more about Eisen? Because
Okay.
you know, I think it. Again, this is ComicXWeeb, so you're gonna get Weeb stuff here.
The weeb stuff. Now,
I'm
where's
pretty.
Eisen from?
He's from Bleach. Eisen is
Bleach.
from Bleach,
Okay.
which is an anime about basically about Grim Reapers. They're called Shinigami, which is basically Grim Reaper in Japanese. But
Okay.
their whole concept is, when somebody die, they take their spirit to the next world or whatever. But of course, it's much more like action based and not just dealing with like, oh, someone's dead, we're just gonna take them there. So usually when a person died, they might turn to a hollow or whatever, which is like a demon that you gotta pretty much take down and then go from there. But his birthday is like Eisen's birthday is like May 29th or whatever, something like that.
Okay.
So I was like just thinking like, man, and Eisen is one of the best villains ever created, not just in anime, just in general. Because the way Kubo, the creator of Bleach, the way he put Eisen together, I love it. Because when Eisen's first introduced to Soul Society, he comes across as just like the nicest person in the world. He's like this knowledgeable guy. He was the head captain of the 5th Division, and he was just so nice, so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's killed in like a couple episodes in when he's introduced. He's murdered. And like his lieutenant like freaks out, sees him hanging dead, and she's screaming, and everybody, all the Gote 13, which is like the strongest beings in Soul Society, they are like the captains of each division. They all get together, and the head captain's like, we got to find out who did this. We got to do something. But at the same time, what was actually happening was Rukia, who was one of the main characters. The main character is a guy named Ichigo. And Ichigo and Rukia became friends because Rukia came to Earth to take out a soul or whatever. Bad stuff happened. She ended up getting hurt or whatever, and she gave some of her power to Ichigo to help. So Ichigo became a substitute Soul Reaper because he's a human. She's not. She's a Soul Reaper, but he's a human, so he became a substitute Soul Reaper. So either way, she committed a crime basically by doing that. So without any permission to do it, because at the end of the day, she's not a captain, but she was basically a lieutenant, but she's not a captain. So there's rules she has to follow by.
Mm-hmm.
So when she did that to Ichigo and some of the stuff she was doing, it broke some rules. So her brother, Byakuya, who's probably my favorite character in Bleach, him, Kenpachi, but he's my guy. Byakuya shows up with his lieutenant Renji, who is a childhood friend of Rukia, and they end up getting married at the end of the series, Rukia and Renji. It pissed a lot of people off, bruh, because a lot of people wanted Ichigo and Rukia to get together.
Okay.
But Ichigo ended up getting together with Oihime. So it pissed a lot of people off. But anyway.
Okay.
But story-wise, it makes more sense for it to be Renji. They knew each other longer. And who cares? We'll get to that another time. The point is, Byakuya shows up, kick Ichigo's ass with ease because Byakuya is a whole nother level. He's a captain. Ichigo's just doing his thing. So he takes Rukia back, and during this time frame, Rukia was going to be executed. And it came across as Byakuya didn't care, but that wasn't necessarily the truth. It's just he's so honor bound and family bound, he didn't know how to handle the situation. Like Byakuya is not rash about anything. He's that guy who's just like always calm and collective and always think through what he's going to do. He doesn't just jump into a situation screaming and trying to do something. But the point is, after Ichigo and Byakuya have their battle again and the fight's over, you end up finding out while this is going on, because Ichigo's whole thing is saving Rukia, there's still the investigation on Aizen's death. So while they're searching, other captains are looking into it. What the hell happened? Some of the captains are like, they think Gin is the one who killed Aizen, mainly Tashira. Hisagaya believes Gin killed Aizen or whatever. And like, it ends up finding out that Aizen faked his own death.
Okay.
And how he did this is his Zanpato, which is the swords they have, which has a Shinkai first release and then a Bankai, the ultimate transformation second release. Anyway, his Shinkai has the ability that they thought it had a whole different ability. What its actual ability is anybody that sees him release his sword is under a permanent hypnosis where he can have them see whatever he wants them to see.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
So when they all saw him dead, that's just what he wanted them to see. He can have anything he want happen basically. They're under permanent hypnosis. So
that's pretty cool. That's always been like one of my favorite types of power showings is like being able to manipulate like a landscape. That's why I was always drawn. I think a lot of people were drawn to like Freddy Krueger. Who can manipulate dreams and kind of make you see what you want to see. So that's always been like one of my favorite like go-to. If I had a power, that would be a really cool power type things. But yeah, go ahead.
Especially considering Aizen's a genius at that. So he's not just some musclehead with a crazy ability or just some guy who's like an average brain kind of guy with a crazy ability, which makes him almost unstoppable. Aizen was literally built up and he tricks everybody. And then when he lets them realize what's going on, he starts getting attacked by a lot of different captains and opponents. And even Ichigo like charges at him. And Ichigo has one of the greatest theme songs. What we got?
Just shout out to Vinyl Dragon. He's up in here.
Ichigo has the crazy theme song where it's like a black girl singing his lyrics or whatever, and it's freaking hilarious, but it gets you pumped up. It's a cool theme song. And it's playing. It's so much better in the anime than in the manga because you get the full depth of it. And the manga's great. But anyway, when he's charging at Aizen and he throws his sword, his theme song's playing, you're like, oh, this is going to be a great fight. Aizen catches it with one finger. And then when he catches the blade, he goes down with the finger and touches the tip. And then all the blood just shoots out of Ichigo, fight's over. And then he basically one-shots anybody who comes towards him. And then he like leaves. And my man pulls a freaking Superman where all he does is takes his glasses off, puts his hair back, and Aizen looks like he just lost like 20 pounds. He looks like a whole new character. It's like, damn.
So the thing with I was gonna say with Superman, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, how could no one recognize Superman? All he does is take his glasses off or whatever."
Right.
He had a thing, I'm pretty sure, where he distorted. It was like he was able to kind of distort how people perceived him. Wasn't that like kind of written in there as well?
Right.
Because, and I guess Eichmann can do the same thing because since he can do kind of perceive or throw what you can see, right? Isn't that what you were saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I always kind of giggled when people were like, if it was me, I would definitely be able to tell that, if I knew, Clark Kent and Superman.
No, you can't.
Like you can't, because not only like one, it's a psychological thing that if you see someone in a certain situation, that's kind of how you associate them. So you actually would be very less likely to recognize them anyway. But then number two, he is able to kind of distort it a little bit more using his power so that you can't recognize him in that aspect too. which just kind of leads to the overpowered fullness of
No,
Superman.
it kind of does. It kind of does, but that's okay. Sometimes overpowered is freaking awesome, and that's exactly what Eisen is in a lot of ways.
Right.
Because like when you're listening and going into the depth of this character, like it's so cool because when they even showed him in the past, and they showed like how big brain he was from the get go, where when he was a lieutenant and a guy named Shinji who become like a visor or whatever, and he was the captain of the division, and he never fully trust Eisen. He always felt something was up with this dude, and he would like always try to keep an eye on Eisen and this and that. And then even when it gets to the point where Shinji shows up and like touches it's so cool because he touches the air around him and he pulls it like he's pulling a curtain, and Eisen's just there. It's hard to explain, but it's so cool because I've never seen it like that done in even all the animes I watched, where the guy's just walking and he just touches the air and he pulls it like it's a curtain, and then it shows Eisen there like behind the curtains. It was so cool. But he does that and he's talking all this, and Eisen's like, while you was watching me, no, I was watching you the whole time. And he's like, no. He's like, yeah. And like then Gin shows up and kills a bunch, like takes out a bunch of Shinjo's friends. And then like Tosin shows up, and it's like, wait a minute, Tosin's a captain now. Gin is this ultimate kid prodigy that everybody's like, he's destined to be a captain. He's on a whole nother level. And Eisen's like, yeah, while you was watching me, you never noticed what I told them to do. You was too focused on me to notice the stuff around you happening. And that's how Eisen's he's always like a couple of steps ahead. And like then he had like people behind him, even to a point where when he goes to Waco Mundo, which is basically the home of the Hollows, where they come and live, he shows up there and he goes to Baragon, who's like the king of all Hollows. And he just steps in there and he's just like, nice to meet you. Because Eisen is super polite. He's so polite to the point where you think it's an act, and honestly it is, but he's the ultimate manipulator. He's just super polite. So he's like, nice to meet you. You must be the king of Waco Mundo. And he's like, yeah, I am. Who the hell are you? And he's like, you don't smell like a human, but you look like one. So he's like, are you a soul reaper? And he's like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. I'll have my men take you out. And he's like, well, listen, before you do that, it would be in your best interest to just listen right now. And Baragon's like, who do you think you're talking to? He was like, look, you're powerful, but if you want to become more powerful, you need to work for me. And he's like, you are a fool. And he's like, men, kill them all. And Eisen's like, have you noticed that no one is moving? And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, you haven't noticed yet. Ah, that's right. He was like, soon as you walked through the door, I had my sword out so quickly that you just saw it and then you forgot all about it. And he was like, let me explain what happened. And then he releases the illusion that he placed. All of his men was already killed as soon as Eisen walked through the door.
Wow.
Kept them all out. So all of his men is dead. And then he's just like, so you have a choice to make. You can either join me or I'll kill you. And here's the thing. Eisen's not that guy who hides behind his people. Every time he buffed anybody on his team, they worked under him out of straight up fear of him attacking them. There's this great scene where Grimjaw, who was like, everybody loves Grimjaw, he steps up to, well, his whole thing is Eisen's talking about what the next plan is in Waco Mundo, what they're going to do. And Grimjaw is like, all right, enough of this. He gets up and starts walking away. Tosin steps in his face and is like, yo, what are you doing? Eisen hasn't finished talking. And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to go take care of business. And he's like, have you not understood what I just said? Sit back down. And he's like, I'm doing this for Lord Eisen. He said it in like an arrogant kind of like, oh, I'm doing it for him kind of way. Right. And Eisen just politely, he's just like, Grimjaw, I haven't finished talking. And then Grimjaw looks at him, and then Eisen's like, you need to go back to your seat. And then Grimjaw's like, but, and then Eisen looks at him, and then Grimjaw feels just a little bit of his reishi, which is power, and it brings him to his knees. And he was like, Eisen just, as soon as Eisen looks at him, he goes straight to his knees, can't stand. Eisen's power is so strong, he cannot get up. Just Eisen looking at him is too much for him. So he's just like, he's in fear that Isaac's gonna kill him, and Isaac's like, but I didn't finish talking. So you're gonna go back to your seat now.
Mm.
And Grimjaw went back to his seat.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the kind of person Isaac is. He's so powerful that these guys are like, we can't fuck with this dude, but he's so freaking smart. Like, I just love it. Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a really, like you said, like a really good villain, which is necessary. To have Stan Lee even said you can't have a good hero without a good villain. So villains are so underrated, and they're so important to have, like you said, intriguing, mysterious, powerful, strong villains in the show. And yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
Great character, man. Great character. I'm actually gonna have a video out with him pretty soon. Okay. Really go into real depth, because this dude, I'm telling you, amazing character, man. Just amazing.
Vinyl Dragon says, nah, bro, Grimjaw should have just slapped him twice in the mouth and then said, I did that because I like you.
Well, by the way, I could. He probably tried.
By the way, Vinyl Dragon right here is the new Black Santa Instagram at Chris Lloyd, aka Black Santa 2418. I'm going to be shouting it out on my Instagram as well later this evening. For those of you who missed it and are jumping in now. But yeah, so that's pretty awesome. But he also, by the way, wanted us to talk about something, and I completely forgot. So I'm glad that he reminded me. This last week released the first 2 episodes of the new Obi-Wan show. Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus, and we were just talking about how Star Wars has one of the worst fan bases of all time, and here we go again with this shenanigans, because there was a lot of hate for the third sister of the Inquisitor Squad, as well as the young girl who plays young Leia on the show. I watched the first 2 episodes. Okay.
You have?
I watched the first 2 episodes. I enjoyed them. Like, it's whatever. Like, for me, I'm not a huge Star Wars person. I'm just right. Like, if it keeps my attention going and I'm here with it, then I consider it good. If I fall asleep, you know what? You didn't do your job. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's my expectation. That's how low I have of a bar for Star Wars content. Okay. I had 0 issues with the first 2 episodes. I was intrigued. I was enjoying it. I thought that the actors were doing a great job. The third sister on the Inquisitor Squad, or whatever it's called, the people that are hunting Jedi.
They're the Inquisitors, and it's the sisters, because you get introduced to them. Remember when I was talking about the Fallen Order?
Yeah.
You get introduced to them in that game too. Not necessarily introduced like they just showed up, but they play a big role in that game, and you're fighting them in that game. You're fighting a bunch of the Inquisitors and the sister versions of the Inquisitors too. Because there's male versions too, and a different type of thing. But anyway, you're fighting the sisters, and it's really, really freaking cool.
Yeah, so this
really cool.
This one, who has kind of like tried to step out and make a name for herself. Her name's Reva, played by a young black woman who I think she fucking killed it, and she just kind of showed that she was power hungry and almost like she was trying to please Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, and she was trying to get ahead and become a Sith Lord. Even I think this is. Again, I'm not a big Star Wars person, so please don't jump down my throat if I get this wrong. But I think
I know a good amount where I can be like, yeah, but no, you're right. You're right.
I think this is before the rule of 2, where there could only be 2 Sith Lords.
I don't. This can't be, because that happened. If I'm not right, if there's anybody who's heavy in Star Wars, that rule happened with Bane.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Bane. That rule happened all the way back then.
Okay.
That's when they first created that. So right now it should be fine.
Should be rule of 2.
It's basically altered the way Palpatine sees it.
Okay.
In a way. It's kind of like
I just know she's trying to get her worth. She's trying to prove herself. She's like, I'm gonna fucking find Obi-Wan and kill him and bring him to Vader and just be like looking for praise or looking for whatever outside of this squad that she's in right now. And the Grand Inquisitor is constantly telling her, you know, you need to fall in line, you need to do what we are telling you to do, etc., etc. But she's been killing it as a villain, like as the main. It seems like she is the main villain because she's like going out of her way to hunt Obi-Wan on his journey and doing a fucking good job of it. So
Yeah.
like first when I heard there was hate going on already with a character, immediately I was like, oh great, it's probably for the actress that plays Reva, because of course it is, because she's a black character and Star Wars fans are the worst. So then I
Yeah.
realized that it wasn't just for her. It was a lot of hate for this 9-year-old actress playing young Leia.
What's the hate with her?
Dude, I don't even fucking know. Like my only thing was like, oh wow, she looks like she's about 6 because she's a tiny, she's a kid. I mean, she's tiny. Well,
Right.
I have a problem, you know, hard time judging age anyway. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh okay, so she's 10 instead of 6 or whatever. But she was doing a great job. A little, sometimes she was speaking a little bit fast, but like, bro, that's not a fucking criticism for a child actor. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
thought she was doing great. She had charisma. She was doing a good job, but apparently, dude, I don't even know what the problem is, but so many people are like coming after her now, and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with Star Wars that we're going after again? We're just repeating the same bullshit again. Like, finally, we were on board with Hayden Christensen coming back. Finally, we were like cool with, you know, us continuing this storyline that's been, you know, troped, overplayed, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
we get it. It's all about Anakin. It's all about the Skywalkers, yada, yada, yada. Okay, whatever. So we get another series that's dealing with that. And like, it seemed like the hype for it was going well. The press releases, everything that was going on, everyone's super excited. I was like, oh man, you know, we might be able to get through this show. But now they found some new shit to be angry about, and I'm just like, man, I just don't understand it. I don't get
That's how
it
you
because
know it's so fake, because it's like, you telling me you can't get through the freaking first season first? Can we at least let this play out?
right, we
And
didn't.
then
You dropped
you
the
can make
first
an
2
argument of
episodes.
whether it's good or bad. At least wait until you watch the whole series before you just say, you know what, if you choosing to watch it, if you just in your mindset, like I was in certain things, but like, I don't want to watch it, I don't think it's worth watching, whatever. But if you're gonna choose to watch it and you're like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and then after 2 episodes, you're already like, these actors are the worst things in the world. This 9-year-old girl is terrible. Bro, let the series play out first. It's like I've always said, if I'm gonna listen to something, I'm gonna listen to a CD. I'm gonna wait till the whole CD's done before I say it's the greatest CD I've heard in a long time or it's the worst CD I've heard in a long time. At
Right.
least let the damn thing play out.
Yes.
And then see how you quote unquote felt she does. But these guys ain't caring about the acting. It's because it's a girl. It's a black girl playing a Star Wars character, a powerful Star Wars character, which we never had.
Right.
It's a 9-year-old girl playing an iconic character, which, to be honest with you, this will really piss off Star Wars fans. I don't care. Layla doesn't really do much in the Star Wars movies.
Bro, I've been
as
saying
iconic
that.
as she is, the thing most people remember her for is when she was dressed up as a hooker and she was the Jabba the Hutt's slave.
Leia. Yes.
That's the most thing people remember for. She doesn't really do much in the movies until like the later ones, and even then, she was too old to do anything that really, really mattered.
Bro, look, okay. I've been saying this, and I'm glad that you were the first one to say it. Leia is garbage. Luke also kind of garbage. I mean, I get it, like, you know, Luke is whatever, but
I agree. He is.
The whole fucking like incest shit that happens between them is weird. It's fucking like it's weird. Let's just call it as it is. It's fucking weird. The fact that like George Lucas even set that whole thing up to begin with, It's weird. Like Back to the Future kind of did it with Marty McFly and his mom. Also really fucking weird. I don't know why we're not talking about that either. It's weird, okay? It's not
I love
okay
when
to
Futurama
be
made a
putting
joke
this
at it. That was
shit
so
into
funny.
the movies, okay? We're wondering why this weird incest porn has taken a like such a sudden rise in today's culture. It started with Star Wars and Back to the Future, okay? It's not new. This shit happened in the 70s. All right? Yeah, you just couldn't film porn so mainstream back then. All right? But yeah, Leia is fucking garbage. All like her like or her one most important line or most quotable line, "Help us, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope." She's calling out for a dude to help save her. All right? She dresses up in that slave shit. She's got the pigtails going. Okay, that did something for you when in the 70s. It doesn't carry through to today. I don't know. I don't understand. And then
No, I'm with you.
you're fucking hating on this young girl, this 9-year-old actress for not being Oscar worthy. Like, what do you? She's 9.
And then
Jesus
it's only 2 episodes in.
Right, and we're 2 episodes in. Like,
you don't know how performance is going to go moving forward.
Exactly. Like, okay.
And again, like you said, she's 9. Everybody got to be Oscar winners, huh? We got to have these.
The only reason that we're hating so much is because she's this iconic character from the 70s. So yeah, she's portraying her version of Leia that like you guys have built up in your head for 50 years. So right. And you got to think about it. Star Wars is almost 50 years old. It's like 45 years old or whatever the fuck it is. Like it's old. It's old. Yeah. So like, I don't know. And then Reva, like I'm telling you, dude. I don't know if you will end up watching the show or anything. Reva kept me interested the entire. I was like, man, I want to know what this character is about to do. Like the entire time, like I was like, damn, she's the only one that's like doing shit because the Grand Inquisitor was like trying to hold her back. He was like, no, we need to go about it a certain way. And she seemed to be the only one who was like trying to get shit done and exhibiting that like that Sith mentality because I mean they all had their lightsabers, but I don't know the rules. I guess they can have lightsabers but not be Sith. I don't know.
They're not actual like Sith. That's the key thing. They're not like real Sith. They work under Vader.
Okay.
But like they're force sensitive, but they're nowhere near as force sensitive as a Sith, and they're not they're not as powerful. Like Vader, like again, it was demonstrated in the game perfectly when Vader showed up and just easily killed her, and like as powerful as God, I'm forgetting the main character's name in Fallen Order. Sorry, but as powerful as he was, when he ran, like when he tried to do anything against Vader, it's made sure not only is it not a winnable fight, you can't damage Vader. All your combos he reflects with like ease, with no effort whatsoever. And then if you don't do anything where you kind of like try to move around and wait for it, he just instantly grabs you and you can't break free. Like and you're meant to run away. And if you don't run away and you turn back and try to fight him, he instantly kills you. He just snaps your neck. You can't stop him. So that's what they try to like. They're not on the power of Vader, not even close to the power of a true Sith.
Right.
So they're basically like the third. Like you got your Sith Lord, and you got a Sith apprentice, and then it's like the Inquisitors are like under there with their power kind of ranging, but they're nowhere near as powerful. Like as powerful as she is, or powerful as some other Inquisitor could be, he or she, whatever. If Vader was to do something, or any real Sith was to step up to him, they would get crushed.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So yeah, they're not real Sith.
Even so, man, like
without she's still fucking up.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she's still fucking shit up.
Get there.
Even without, we've had like a brief viewing of Vader, like not really though, kind of with the mask off, healing or whatever in the tank. But nothing crazy with Vader yet. But with this first 2 episodes, I mean, she's been the most exciting part of it, and it's hard to see where the hate's coming from. I mean, it's not hard to see where the hate's coming from, but it's just like really, like it's like she's the best part of the show so far, and I mean they both are. Honestly, they both are, and maybe that's where the hate's coming from. They're so mad that they're so mad that they're fucking killing their roles, and I don't know, man.
And I hope it really ain't. And honestly, it looks like it is. Just because 2 females are killing their roles in this situation, they're upset.
Right.
It's like, damn, guys, like, what are you doing? Why are you getting angry? You should be excited. We got some new fresh blood. That's not a damn part of the Skywalker freaking heritage.
Exactly.
We got to make part of that crap. I mean, you can say Layla, yeah, but whatever. She's a kid. I'm talking about this new girl's doing cool stuff. New other characters are doing stuff. We should be excited. If we're not getting Vader, I don't want it to be dealing with Skywalkers. So this is awesome. So, but you know,
we're not going to get that because Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans. So all we get is their bullshit.
Exactly. They would be so happy if she was like Darth Vader's daughter somehow, and then they were sleeping together. They'd be like, "Oh my god, now it makes sense.
Right?
This is perfect. She's playing the role great. Go get him." Like, my god, man, guys, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show. Or at least, again, let the damn series come to, like, let the first freaking season come to its end. Whether it's going to be 2 or 3 seasons, whatever it's going to be, or if it's just the one. Let's play out this season. When it ends, then try to make arguable, sensible arguments instead of just having 2 episodes. Because I'm sorry, you can't tell me a person is so terrible after just 2 episodes.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, we've only gotten 2 episodes. And like I said, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Like, it didn't put me to sleep. I thought it was good. And again, like, Reva's been the most intriguing character. Leia's been doing pretty solid. I mean, for a kid, and like being, having to be rescued. She's playing obviously like a damsel in distress. I don't want to go too far into it without spoiling anything.
I mean, let's be honest. Layla was basically a damsel in distress in the first main movie.
Exactly. And had to be rescued by Obi-Wan. And guess what? Yeah. We're replaying that again. So
yeah, by Obi-Wan, by Luke, by Han. That's basically her role.
Right. So kind of replaying that role a little bit.
Except for now, it obviously makes a lot more sense being, a child.
Yes.
Like, what is she supposed to do? Fight them off? Come on, she's a child.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for what the story is so far, story's not bad. Actors are not doing a bad job. So, what the hell is everyone so mad about? We're getting new Star Wars content. Shouldn't these Star Wars fans or Star Wars geeks be like over ecstatic and everything and just be just lucky and counting their stars that they don't have to wait 20 years between Star Wars movies like they did last time? Like, you're getting Star Wars content straight to your fucking screen in your living room. You only have to go out to the theater.
Exactly. And especially considering majority of the Star Wars fans, and me, myself included in this aspect, hated the direction they went with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I can bring up actual reasons why it sucked. Not just, I didn't like the actor. No, actual reasons story-wise why it made no sense and it was stupid.
You're talking about like the new movies?
Also extremely stupid. But no, the fact that they went back to the time period everybody wants to see, the stuff that happens in the time period everybody is excited about, and now you're bitching about this too. You're putting it where it's a situation like, well, where do you guys want us to be?
Exactly. Because there is nothing.
Said, no, we loved it during the Clone War situation after the Order 66 when the Jedis were being hunted. We want stories about that. Or we want stories before all this stuff really popped off and this and that. And when they do it, then they bitch about it too. So it's like, what do you want them to do? They tried something new. You all hated it. Now they're going back to the time period everybody complained and wanted. And now you're bitching in 2 episodes in. How can they win? What do you want them to do?
Exactly. No, they can't win. No, you're 100% correct. It's they I don't know, because again, like you said, like they have the new movies, which I was not a fan of the new movies, 7, 8, and 9, episodes 7, 8, and 9.
They're really bad.
Not a big fan.
Story-wise, how I look at it, not the actors. I don't even think the actors really bad. It was story-wise and the decisions and the script and the stuff they decided to do that made the shit bad. Not necessarily the actors.
Right. I liked, what was the Rogue One, I think, was the movie that I actually enjoyed as far as like the latest movie. So they had Rogue One, they had Han Solo, which I never actually got around to watching. But Rogue One I did enjoy.
Rogue One was
Yeah, and then 7, 8 episodes 7, 8, 9, like I couldn't get into it, man. Like I
they're
just was
bad.
yeah,
Story
I
wise, they're just
couldn't
bad
do it.
movies.
Story-wise, it wasn't anything with anyone else. It was just story-wise, I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. And then they had Mandalorian, which I loved, Boba Fett, which was like a little bit, it kind of fell off a little bit with Boba Fett. But now coming back with Obi-Wan, and I'm like, again, as someone who's not a Star Wars fan, is what you got to look at it. Uh, I've I'm back in. I'm back hooked in and intrigued to this story. And so man, it was just really disappointing. Like when I heard that they had or that the hate was starting again and to the point where it was like they're going after people's social medias and just attacking them personally. And it's just like, why? Why?
I've always hated keyboard warriors. They're the
Mhm.
biggest punks in the world, sitting at in their grandmother's house and everything in the basement with their hot pockets on their fucking stomach and everything, and their cookies
Hot
on their
Pockets.
chest and everything, cookie crumbs and all that garbage that they be doing. They gonna type in there, "Oh, I'll kill you. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna go rape you." Shut up! You ain't gonna do shit. You're gonna sit there and eat your little hot pockets. I can't stand these guys, but how can you call yourself a real man or a real woman and you're going to go after a 9-year-old child?
Right.
How can you call yourself a real adult, a real anything, and you're going to
Right.
target a child?
It just doesn't
And
make
start
sense.
going on her Instagrams or Twitters or whatever and start talking about how bad of a job she's doing 2 episodes in again. Like, come on. You are a coward and a punk.
Yeah.
You have nothing going for you. You're a piece of garbage. Like, you really are.
Yeah.
It makes me sick to my stomach, man. Bunch of punks, man. Straight up punks, man.
Yeah. It's I hope that it doesn't continue. I hope that it continues to be a great story. Again, we're only 2 episodes in. We're only the
Yeah.
first week, the first drop that they had for like Star Wars Celebration anniversary or whatever that
Mhm.
they released it on, because they were thinking about doing it on May the 4th and then they changed it
Mm.
to later in the month. So I'll be watching the next episode. There's I'll be looking forward to, I think on Fridays is when they're releasing it, and I'll be, ready to watch the next one. Alexis was kind of on it, and
Mhm.
her reasoning for that was just because she thought story wise that Obi-Wan should have done something that would have made Leia believe that he was in fact, a Jedi and come along instead of like this whole rigmarole of, oh, I don't think you're a Jedi, so I'm gonna run away, and then Obi-Wan kind of has to like chase her and deal with the consequences of them being kind of both being hunted instead of just going through the city, which like for me it's just like, oh, it's just a plot point or whatever, like, but for her it was kind of like a weak plot point. But that was her only complaint, and it was against Obi-Wan. And all you guys know how I feel about Obi-Wan being the true villain of the Star Wars franchise. You know what? I was just like, I'll let it slide because fuck Obi-Wan. So, like, but that's just how I felt about it, and I see no reason for hating on how the acting is being done. Um, I
Well,
would
I
even say,
mean,
Chris, maybe you might want to watch for
I
yourself at
am.
some point. Oh, you have?
I
Okay,
am. I'm gonna watch Thursday the episodes and then be caught up by Friday and watch that as well.
okay,
But my thing is though, when you bring it up, because that's a good point she brings up. But my only thing is, I'm assuming at least without watching, which I will watch again Thursday. Hell, I might even watch tonight. I'm assuming he just did not want to risk using his powers and
yeah,
getting Palpatine, because Palpatine would have noticed himself, and then that could have been a big problem. So
right.
to me, his thing would have been, I'm not going to risk unless I have to.
That was
I'm not
exactly
going to
what
risk
he
it.
said. He said it's too
Okay.
dangerous to risk showing whatever, and
Because I wouldn't. I would not
right.
risk it because I don't know the situation here. I'm gonna do everything in my power to hold back
Mhm.
until I'm forced. And if I'm forced to, then I'm going to then I would do it then. But
Right.
unless I'm completely forced, I would not do it. I would not do it.
Yeah, he didn't even he was like throwing punches because he
Yeah.
didn't even want to bust out the lightsaber. Like he was doing, like another Jedi tried to approach him and be like, I finally found you. We need to stick together. Blah blah blah. And Obi-Wan was like, nah, dude. Like I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. You got the wrong person. And then that Jedi ended up,
I'm just a hobo on the street, bro. I don't know what you're talking about,
sprung up by the rafters. And Obi-Wan looked at him. He's like, sucks to suck, bro. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like,
sucks to suck, bro.
I'm saying Obi-Wan, bro.
That's smart, really. I mean, sometimes you have to be a savage, and like it comes across as like, oh, you're not a hero unless you just pop out your powers and go save the day. Ah, man, that's how a lot of heroes be dying, bro. That's a lot of those no-name heroes be dying, bro. You got to be smarter than that.
No, bro. Obi-Wan is Black Santa Claus, Sith opposite.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, honest to God, bro, like, Dragon, Dino, I'm not gonna, like, show my powers out there, bro, like, unless I 100%.
The Jedi, Vinyl Dragon says the Jedi part where he didn't help was sketch as fuck, or sketch what the fuck. Dude, I'm saying, Obi-Wan, bro, look, he ain't here to help you. Obi-Wan is a villain. I could write an essay with citations attached at the end, just with proof. I'm saying proof that Obi-Wan is in fact the true villain. If Obi-Wan hadn't been such a dick, the entire fucking everything that Star Wars related,
he could have stopped Anakin's role. He played a big role in Anakin turning to Darth Vader.
I'm saying he absolutely he played 95% of the role, dude. Like it wasn't even like he played a small part. Like he maybe gave him a nudge. No, dude, this dude pushed him into it. And like I don't know, man. Like the whole fucking thing, just like going back to watching. I know everyone shits on episode 1, or whatever. But if you're gonna sit there and think about it, the only one who really wanted Anakin trained was Qui-Gon, for whatever reason. There's the only one. He was like, he's gonna bring balance to the Force. Nobody else was on board. Even Obi-Wan at first was like, nah, I don't know so much. And Yoda was like, no, don't do it. Like, do not do it. His future is like a cloud. Like, don't do it. And Obi-Wan's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. he's like, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but let me go ahead and do the opposite of what you're advising. He's like, I made a promise, and he died. Boo hoo. Meh. So
no, see but now that's where I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. Okay. I don't think it's a problem that he trained him. I think that one of the biggest problems was the way he handled Anakin, especially when times when Anakin's emotional. You can say because they don't want you to have any emotion whatsoever, which again is bullcrap,
right?
Because each of them on the council has emotions, even if they try to make it seem like they don't. Like Mace Windu, it proved that to a high degree. Even Yoda himself has proved that later on, and definitely in comics. So they all have that, but they made it seem like Anakin's emotion was too bad, and that you can't allow this to happen. And Obi-Wan kind of fed into that and would always like down him way too much.
And it was supposed to be like a balanced amount of emotion, right? So it's not you're not supposed to be like in love or whatever, because it could lead you to biased decisions or whatever. And you're not supposed to feed into hate, etc., etc. You're supposed to use your good judgment. But there were plenty of signs that Anakin could not regulate his emotions. Plenty of signs. Going from, I mean, if you were even to just talk about episode 1, episode 2, where he killed the people once he found out his mom had been killed. Going forward, how Anakin saved Obi-Wan. Going forward even further, the rage that he used against Dooku, killing Dooku. And then Palpatine's just sitting there, whispering in his ear, basically like, hey, bro, there's some things that you could learn to save the people that you love or whatever.
This whole thing was like, I can bring them back.
I could bring them back, or I could prevent people from dying. I could see the future. And Obi-Wan knew that he was fucking like what's her face the whole time. Now I
The
forgot her
girl
fucking name.
was older than him. Yeah, the girl he ended up. Yeah.
Jane Foster.
What was her name?
It's Natalie Portman. It's Jane Foster. So yeah, he's out here fucking female Thor. And Obi-Wan is well aware of the situation that's going down, and he's acting like nothing's happening. I don't know what that's about, whatever. For someone who's supposed to be holding the line and holding the rules, and then all Anakin wants is to be recognized for his talent, and everyone's like, nah, dude, to be honest, you're a piece of shit. Like, let's be real. And then Obi-Wan's like, yeah, well, you're kind of a piece of shit if the Jedi Council says that you're a piece of shit.
Right.
So,
because they know best.
Yeah, we're gonna get to you eventually, but for now, you're just kind of a piece of shit. And so, of course, Obi-Wan's gonna go to the person who's feeding him attention because that's really all he craves. All he craves is attention and recognition. And here's Palpatine just being like, "You're the greatest. Why don't you come do some shit with me?" And so, like, dude, it's just. And then it continues. If you want to even say it continues with his relationship with Luke, where Luke is looking for guidance, and then Obi-Wan's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to die right now and just leave you kind of hanging out there on the brink of possibly going to the dark side yourself. Like, it's just because Luke could regulate his own shit better than Anakin could.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that's the case neither, though, because I think Luke got it better that Obi died and didn't have to go through the crack. Because I think if Obi would have stayed alive and trained him like he did Anakin, Luke would have turned. I think what helped Luke, because if you read the comics and everything, Luke falls in love. He gets a girl. They have children. He goes through all those emotions, and yet he handles it better because of the fact that he wasn't like chastised when he made a decision with his emotions. He was able to just do it as a normal person would do it. That was one of the biggest issues with the Order. They felt you can't fall in love. That's stupid. It's been proven that you can and be fine. One of their top ranked guys had a wife and kids. And yet you still let him be on the team.
Right.
You ain't see Luke and them walking, Obi-Wan walking up, chastising him, or Mace Windu like, hey, good to see you. How's that kid, that bastard child you brought into the world? Your wife, she's a bitch. Why do you love her? What's wrong with you? You don't see any of that happening. Like, they chose who to do that to, and it always pissed me off. That's why, like, obviously the Siths, a lot of them are crazy and out their mind, but the Jedi are the 100% reason the Sith are even around.
Vinyl Dragon says, I think he was just not ready to have an apprentice. If you think about it, Anakin was forced on him. Yeah, that's 100%. Everyone literally said, well, it was not even that he was forced on him. It was just that, like, Obi-Wan felt this guilt that Qui-Gon died.
I have to,
And Qui-Gon's last words or whatever was like, train the boy. So it was just kind of like this, oh, well, I have to train the boy because I failed in saving Qui-Gon type of thing. So if you think about it, that in itself is an emotional decision.
Exactly. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Mace Windu looked like he wanted to push Anakin off a cliff. Dude, Mace Windu was so badass. And like, he not only badass, but he was just so amusing to watch. Like,
and then in terms of pure power, I know at least the old rankings. I don't know how it works anymore.
He was the strongest, right?
He was the strongest in terms of pure power. He was flat out the strongest. It's hard to say now because they changed up what's canon and what's not canon and what works or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the flat out strongest. And,
which is why, like, that scene in episode 3 was always like my least favorite scene because Palpatine kind of jobbed him out a little bit. But I mean, he had him. I know it was like he had him and Anakin just kind of fucked it up or whatever, but like he should have killed him.
And then what's so crazy about it, he was holding back because his original thing was not to kill him, to bring him in. Yeah. And then when he was like ready to kill him, that's when Anakin kind of jumped in there and fucked everything up. Off. So yeah, he would have ended up dying there more than likely if Anakin didn't like fuck everything up.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to. And then it's so funny because like I'm pretty sure they definitely confirmed he died, but I can see them doing some shit where they're like, oh, well, he didn't actually die when he was thrown out the window.
They never show his death.
He had children or whatever.
They never show his death.
They never actually show his death. No.
And
There
if
is
they
some
could bring
people who
Palpatine
do
back,
believe that he can come. Like, if not necessarily him, he had children afterwards, or something's gonna happen where they're like, oh, you was part of Mace Windu's like family. After that happened, he went on a run because of what 66 happened,
right?
and he felt he was hurt, so he felt he didn't recover in time. And when he was finally ready, Order 66 already happened, and the council was destroyed, so it was nothing for him to go back to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if Palpatine can come back after being cut in half and sent down that huge thing in a
Because Anakin
shower
at
of
that point
sparks,
in time fulfilled his destiny and was the one who brought balance back to the Force. And then they was like, no, we're just gonna shit on that storytelling, and we're just gonna say, no, it doesn't matter. Palpatine's coming back.
Yeah, Palpatine comes back as a giant head, like the face of Bode or whatever. If you're a Doctor Who fan, and like that's why I didn't get 7, 8, and 9. Like the whole it was just a lot of silliness going on and just kind of ridiculous. But
and it's so funny that even if you're a Star Wars fan or not, anybody who's just familiar with the franchise, everybody hated it. That was a universal hated decision, bringing Palpatine back the way they did, because it was just dumb.
Right. But if you could do that, shit, you could bring back Mace. He only had his hands cut off. He only had his hands cut off.
That would make me super happy. I was like, that's fucking cool. You brought my man back. And then, like, either he can have a daughter to keep his legacy or a son to keep his legacy moving forward. That would be cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, we got to wait and see how that turns out. But I got a feeling they'll do it sooner than, like, it's going to happen within, like, probably the next 10 years. They're going to be like, all right, we're going to do this now.
Well, they better hurry up. Samuel L. Jackson ain't getting any younger, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. They gotta have somebody else take that legacy, bro. Maybe Michael B. Jordan be his son or something, or any I don't know. It's really, I can't think of like, I'm bad with names anyway when it comes to actors, but I can't think of like a younger, really good black female actor they can use.
Maybe Reva is the daughter. No, and she's too old at this point. I was gonna say that'd be a cool little like.
Yeah, she would probably be too old, right?
But
I was thinking,
don't
get me wrong. I was thinking that too for a second, but I was like, her age would kind of be like,
yeah, her age. Because she's already like a grown adult and everything. So, and this is only like 10 years after episode 3. So
this is 10 years after. Okay,
10 years after. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So not so much, but yeah. I mean, I'm with it. I'd be down.
He had this kid. And maybe either she didn't fully know about him or she found out later on about him. But this happened that we didn't know. They could do that, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
I would have her be her own person. I wouldn't do that
with her. Right. I would still be down with a Mace Windu comeback though, for sure. I mean,
that'd be freaking cool, dude.
Because all he lost was his forearms, and then he sent him out a window. It's not like he couldn't use the Force at the last second to stop his.
That's not, like fall. Some of the stuff. Definitely, again, if you read, that's why I always saw that and was like, is Mace supposed to be the strongest? He the weakest? What the? Because so many things worse than that happened to Jedi's in the comics, and they just survived some of the most craziest shit.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, Star Killer. And at this point, this was canon. Star Killer jumped from a ship in space, went down in Earth's atmosphere, and then landed on his freaking feet using the Force and started killing people. What? Hello? So Star Killer can do that. You telling me Mace motherfucking Windu got thrown out a window and he just died from that? He couldn't stop this?
You know what? An appropriate.
But well.
An appropriate middle name for Mace Windu would be motherfucking because of Samuel L. Jackson. So I definitely approve of that. Mace motherfucking Windu would be a fantastic full name for him. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like it even watching it when it came out, I think it was in middle school, 8th grade or whatever.
Yeah, like it would have been like middle school.
When episode 3 came out, I remember watching it in theaters and just being like, he's not dead. Like they didn't.
Same here.
They didn't show his death.
Oh, he's gonna show up later.
Anakin, Luke, whoever you want to fucking name, have all lost their forearms, or worse, up to this point. It's not like that was a big deal.
That's just a Skywalker thing. You gotta lose an arm.
Yeah, you gotta lose an arm to be a Skywalker. Yeah. And then he threw him out a window. Like, and there's cars, you know how they land on cars and shit, or or the flying cars. There's balconies, or even like you were saying, he could just use the force at the last second and just stop his fall. It's not like he's bleeding out. The wounds are automatically cauterized by the lightsaber, so he just has to go find some robotic arms. Like I dust that shit off like it was nothing. Like, all right, motherfucker, you're gonna take more than that to kill me, and just kind of walk on.
Like some insane freaking feats in the Star Wars universe, and I'm like, being thrown out the window and dying like that is extremely lame. That is not how Jedis go down. That's so simple like that. Right. And a legit powerful Jedi like Mace was. That's not how he should have been able to just die like that.
Yeah.
So I felt George Lucas just had that in his pocket if he ever needed to use it. I mean, and Disney would technically still have it themselves in their pocket if they ever wanted to use it.
Right. Yeah.
But who knows? We don't know everything, so there might be some guy who's just like, well, in issue so-and-so, they confirmed his body is right there. Like, oh, okay, well, cool, whatever.
Yeah, again, not a huge Star Wars fan right here, so I can't say that I know everything about it. But
I just love the video games.
just based off of what I see. Yeah.
And I read a lot of Vader comics. So
yeah, the Vader comics are dope, dude.
Excellent.
Like, they're so fucking good. I highly recommend reading the Vader comics, either the ones from Soul or the ones from Gillen. They're like, both series are really fucking dope. And like, just Vader hunting Jedi especially, it's just so incredible. And like the stuff that he goes through, even like fighting his own shit against Palpatine, because a part of him even still knows that he made a mistake, but he's still trying to go through with it. It's like a whole fucking thing, and it's awesome. And that's what I really wanted out of this series. Like, I really wish they had done that as a fucking series instead of just like, oh, Obi-Wan. But
that would have been so cool. And if not that, like, again, me and you both, we felt it should have been Vader. That would have been the number one choice. My second choice would have actually been Starkiller, because that way, because Starkiller was literally Vader's apprentice. So you would have got Vader, and seeing how Vader trained in a person on the Sith side of things, that would have been so cool. And Starkiller was hunting big time Jedi. So you would have got to see him kill these Jedi and everything that survived. And it would have just been so great seeing, like, the games does a great job, but seeing it in an anime, anime is cool too. But anyway, in a live action series, it would have been so freaking great. And all the people who want Starkiller back some way, shape, or form, it would have been freaking awesome. And you would have introduced a whole new level of power. It would have been great. It just would have been really cool.
Yeah.
And it would have had a good, sad, and happy ending you could have went with too, because the way it ends in the original game, it looks like he dies, but in the second game, the whole narrative is whether the Starkiller that we have is a clone or is it the real version. And even at the end, when he's asked, he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a clone or the real version. So you could have had all that leading. Like, it could have been great. Could have been great, but
could have been.
Still don't mean this could not be good, because like you said, from the first two episodes, you've enjoyed it. So this still could be good, but it would have been. It could have been better. With
exactly. Like, it's been good so far.
Stars too. It could have been new stars, not just the old guys.
Right. That's the other thing. It's just like, it's good for what it is. I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I wish I have my own wishes of how we could have gone through a new Star Wars show, or like if we're going to show these characters. I just feel like that would have been a cool angle or perspective to join. And then Starkiller, I mean, that would have been even doper than Vader, to be honest with you, because now you're showing Vader as, like you said, like as a trainer and the apprentice of that. So that would have been dope too. But I think we're going to call it here. Again, everybody, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, smash it. And we will catch you next Tuesday at 8:00 p.m. We appreciate you hanging out with us. As always, stay villainous and
fuck the Fantastic Four.